maximum for 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes maybe. All right, so just the last part, I'll just complete the last part of social media, and then I'll tell you like how you should prepare for cyber security, and I'll tell you like what you're supposed to do for the next after this. You can see once the portions is over. Okay, good evening, Sivapriya, Karthik, Chandramohan, good evening everyone. Good evening. All right, so this is what so last class we started with social media, right? So role of social media we've seen, and I guess we have stopped till mob lynching, is it not? So I guess we have stopped till mob lynching, is it not? Okay. So in the case of mob lynching, did I give you that anything to write about mob lynching, any definitions or anything like that? Did I give anything like okay? So okay, fine. So for mob lynching, so please write down. Okay, mob lynching, just write down this one. Mob lynching, write down. It is a form. It is a form of violence. It is a form of violence. It is a form of violence in which a mob under the pretext of administering justice without trial, under the pretext of administering justice without trial, executes a presumed offender. Executes a presumed offender often after inflicting torture and corporal mutilation. Torture and corporal, corporal, corporal mutilation, mutilation, corporal mutilation. All right. So I repeat, it is a form of violence in which the mob, under the pretext of administering justice without trial, executes a presumed offender often after inflicting torture or injury. That is corporal mutilation. That is what. Okay, fine. So we have seen with respect to social media. So right now, what we have seen with respect to social media is, yeah, that is, I guess, because of the bandwidth or something like that. People, even like I'm also facing the same issue. Finally, there is a problem with respect to video. So okay, so this is what. So we have started with like the number of the importance and significance of social media. The numbers, actually, we have seen how data is very important. Data is a kind of new oil. It kind of impacts the politics. It kind of impacts the economy. It monopolizes. Actually, it's in everywhere. Data is very important. So this is the kind of linkage you have to make it. And thereafter, the definition, we have seen the definition from the social media policy guidelines 2020, which has given the definition. So as per the social media policy guidelines 2020, so there is no difference between social media and social networking. One and the same. It means one and the same. And thereafter, we discussed about the role of social media also. So in all right, fine. And after which the threats, actually, so how the individual threats, so the definition of filter bubbles, echo chambers, homophily, we have seen, and how it impacts the society. That is what, like, there is a difference between fake news and rumor mongering, I said. So rumor mongering is kind of, you can say, unverified, unintentional, whereas fake is intentionally fabricating a news All right, we have seen the examples which resulted. So the kind of resultant of this resultant of mob lynching as well as rumor mongering and fake news is that mob lynching. Fine. So on these grounds, the mob lynching happens. So it can be anything. So basically, taking law in their own hands. So recently there are few states which have enacted a law. I said like as per India, actually in the case of India, right now in India we don't have a law. So right now in India we don't have a dedicated law. So at present there is no special laws or no specific provisions for mob lynching. All right, at present there are no special laws for mob lynching or no specific provisions under IPC. So IPC is a major penal law, right, statute in India. So even in IPC you don't find it. Like, so normally if there is a group which involves in murder, maybe because of on the suspecting to be cow smugglers or suspecting to be kidnappers, suspecting to be illegal migrants or whoever it is, in that case, so he or she or that group, all right, I've said the case of Tirunamalai. So when a group of persons, they were kind of accused for killing a old lady, suspecting to be a kidnapper. So in that case, what happened? All those 30 plus 40 people, they were tried under the IPC provisions. All right, for you can say disturbing the peace, 153A, unlawful assembly, rioting, as well as murder. That is how. So there is no specific provision. So meaning what? What is the meaning? Here the impact is that we cannot find out the exact number of people affected by mob lynching. Now we have discussed about NCRB. Remember the National Crime Records Bureau. So National Crime Records Bureau, it kind of, you can say, it takes data and then compiles data. So if you want to know in the year 2016, how many cases related to dowry which was registered in India, you can know that. How many cases related to SCST, you can know that. How many cases related to, you can say, kidnapping or whatever it is, rape, murder, whatever it is, on the provisions or any specific thing, POCSO Act. All right, so anything you can know that. But with respect to mob violence, it is not known. It is based on the, you can say, the reports of the newspapers only. Fine. So that is the reason why what Supreme Court said that Supreme Court has issued a set of guidelines. So Supreme Court said that till the time like you have to follow. So till the time like separate law is made either by the central government or the respective state governments, you have to follow a set of specific guidelines and principles that is already available. Like, so you can Google it actually. So that is something you can follow. All right. So that is about mob lynching. That is about the one of the threats. Fine. So no need to go beyond that. So and also find out like the case of Manipur. So Manipur, they have a mob lynching law. So please go through that. That law which is enacted by Manipur government. All right. So rest apart, it's not required. So let it be. It's fine. This is fine. Reset panuma. Okay. Wait a minute. We'll reset the system, people. Just a minute.
You are in the Zoom meeting now. This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. Okay, fine, people. So please go through the provisions, like whenever it is in the newspapers, please go through that about mob lynching. Fine. Next, we're going to see. So the next threat. So first of all, individual we have seen. Next, we have seen about the threat of the society. Next, how the non-state actors, how they play a role. That is what. So non-state actors, you see, non-state actors can be violent also. So basically, non-state actors means those people who don't have any association with the state or the government. So they can be either what? They can be either violent or general, like all other things. For instance, all civil societies. All right. Okay, non-governmental organizations, international or national non-governmental organizations, you don't belong to the state. So there is two set of people, violent as well as other people actually. So first of all, we got to see how the non-state violent actors, how they kind of use, how do they use these things. Okay, we'll see that, like how do the non-state violent actors use social media as a threat. All right. So first of all, they use this as a tool to disseminate, their ideology and to spread their propaganda, whatever it is. All right. And it's also used as a tool to recruit also, as an important tool for recruitment, an important tool for planning and execution, an important tool for communication. All right. So even for fund also they used to rely on it to raise funds, communication, planning, recruitment, even training also can. So social media is a tool. It's a very important one, especially for that. You see, like how ISAS is able to get a lot of people from a lot of areas. The one of the reason is because of the social media fact. So I'll give you an example. Like you see, in the case of recruitment, there was one example 5 years back. One woman in India, she had a page in which she had some 25,000 followers, wherein she was able to radicalize the youth. So she created pages like, okay, fine, like in the name of, so who is a moderate Muslim versus real Islamist people? So what is the real meaning of jihadis? So something like, so what they did actually, I'll give an example. Like for instance, they may start a kind of, you can say, a Facebook page or saying that, okay, maybe like in Tamil, they used to say like VAP stands for Vela Illa Pattadari, those who don't have job. All right. So maybe like something, it may sounds comical. Jobless person, so kind of something like they make in the vernacular languages. It might be very comical. Initially, they will post all those comedy videos, something of funny nature. But later on, what will happen? So all those people who are jobless, you know what happens? At one point of time, they'll start showing their grudge against the government. That is where he or she, they'll show their real intent. Okay, that is where, okay, fine, I know that you are kind of not having any job. The government is also kind of doing against you. Now if you join a specific organization, you get a lot of money. Now this is how they create such things, and this is the way they fall in the trap. I said about the case of Shamima Begum also, right? So this is the reason why most of the youth, they kind of, you can say, exploited. All right. So social media is a very important tool. Lot of such cases I can give you. Social media is an important tool. You see, normal pages only, Facebook pages, Instagram pages only, later on they turn to be very radical. This is what the mode of operation. And next one, with respect to planning, execution, or communication, or anything as such. You see, with respect to these things, nowadays, you know, there are terminologies like lone wolf attacks, as well as do-it-yourself forums. Do it IT. This is do it yourself pages. DIY. So do it yourself forums. Right now, What are these called as lone wolf attacks means? What is the meaning of this lone wolf attacks? These lone wolf attacks means these people are not part of any specific organization, but they have a kind of, you can see, enmity towards a country or towards a government or to a specific you can say political group or a social group or a religious group, whatever it is. Now what will happen? So if at all I am such one lone wolf means, if I want to attack someone else, actually, if I have that plan, now these people, the Lashkar-e-Taiba people, Jaish-e-Mohammed people, or ISIS or Al-Qaeda, they help me through social media. How? They help me. Where should I get? For instance, I'm in, say, one place, like they can tell where can I get the arms. They'll give training how to shoot and how, all these things. So entire thing happening. So right from dissemination of their ideology till the training and execution, everything is carried out in social media right now. All right. So did I play the video of Burhan Wani? Did I play it? Did I play the video of Burhan Wani? Did I? No. Okay. So I'll show that video. See, you'll have a better idea. Just a minute, people. Share பண்ணுப்பா சிவா. In no need of audio, people, it's you can also, it's about the subtitles only. Fine, they'll say that. So here is one Burhan Wani. He was the commander of Hizbul Mujahideen. Initially, you know that, like, even though terrorists seek for publicity, they never used to reveal individual, I can say, face actually. All right, except for the leaders, they never used to show the individual actually. But what happened in the case of Burhan Wani, he started, you can say, showing off not just himself, his own friends and other things, and he invited the youth of Kashmir to join the movement against India. Fine. So this is what he happened. So he appealed the people, you see, he appealed the youth to join them. Alright. Now, in the meantime, what happened? So he demanded for this one, okay, a caliphate in this thing. So let's see. But the thing is that, what was he did actually? So he sermonizes the youth and the state police, but in the meantime, what police did actually? This was police opinion. Alright. So when the video posed a threat to security by luring the youth to join, what was the response of police? This was the response of police. Police said that even though good looks can make him popular, but it won't have an impact on his activities. So police were, kind of, you can say, failure in intelligence also. So they never expected. So what they expected is he won't be having an impact with respect to the youth actually. But interestingly, lot of people, they joined the movement after this video. Alright, what happened after that? Series of events happened after that, but one such things, you see, after this video, they showed actually, this is what, after this video, they, in their social media pages, okay, they showed, okay, this is our gang, proud to be this kind of gang, and also they invited everyone, you see. After which what happened, after they showed their face, you see, normally they don't show their face, maybe only with their eyes, right? You must have seen the previous maybe 5 or 10 years back, like how the terrorists used to be. They never show their face completely, maybe except for their eyes. But what happened after showing this one, it was made a job easier for the government actually. They nabbed the criminals and they killed every one of them who showed their face. They were able to track and they were able to kill. And after that, what happened? Hizbul Mujahideen, they made a kind of a circular saying that now on, you should not reveal your face. Now on, you should not reveal your identity. Because you are doing in violence, underground activities, so you should not reveal that. So this was the kind of impact actually. So social media had a real impact, and you can definitely mention the case of Burhan Wani. Anywhere you can ask it, you can mention it. This is one thing. Alright. So coming back to this. So what exactly happened? So social media is used as a tool, first of all, not just for training, as it is helping the so-called lone wolf attacks. So please focus on the so-called lone wolf attacks because it will be very useful. There is so much of probability, possibility they'll ask. So I'm expecting this for the last 2 to 3 years when I started teaching. So they might ask, please follow the lone wolf attacks. Where therein there is no such, you can say they are not part of the organization, but they get support externally in terms of logistics, in terms of training, in terms of anything. Understand? This is what. So please keep a watch on. Burhan Wani is died. Like he was killed actually. He was killed by the armed forces. All right. So he was killed by the armed forces actually. Because you see, the best example is they used to say that like technology plus ideology, it is a toxic. The combination of technology and ideology, it is more potent and more toxic than ever. That's a deadly combination. And that is the reason why you speak about, it's called as virtual caliphate. Yes, no, it's called as what? Virtual caliphate. They want to create or it is said to be the weaponization of internet, weaponization of social media. These are some of the terminologies which is used. Weaponization of social media, weaponization of internet. Alright, fine. This is what. Now, one more thing I would like to say that in the case of non-state violent actors, like one more example, so it need not be only through violence. Violence means not just blood. There can be a bloodless violence also, like how we have seen the cyber security in other aspect. They can make an impact through social media by making a bloodless violence or a bloodless impact. Like how example, I can give an example. In the year 2012, the Associated Press of USA, there was a tweet actually. What is the tweet? That tweet said there is a bombing in White House. So there is a bombing in White House. So White House bombing, like because of which like few persons killed kind of thing. It was a tweet. Now what is the impact of the tweet is, after the tweet, immediately after that, it resulted in the fall of shares by which the market has lost $136 billion. 136 billion US dollars. Just imagine $136 billion. You know, 1 billion is 100 crores. 1 billion is 100 crores into 75 rupees today, It's 1 billion means it's $1 billion means 7,500 crores today's value. That value is almost 50, 16 or whatever it is. Such is the impact. Like what is the impact? So first of all, by denting the economy, thereby denting the national security also. So it was found to be that it was a fake tweet, or you can say, rather than saying that fake tweet, it was, you see, this tweet was, it was kind of, you can say, hacked actually. The account was hacked and it was tweeted. So how a single tweet, it can impact the economy, thereby impacting the security also. So it can be what? A bloodless violence also. Alright. This is what. Now, one more aspect. Okay. Completed now, people? One more aspect is, so we have completed this one. Okay. Now, how the other non-state actors? Yeah, Signal also. Yeah, that's what I was about to tell Karthik. No, but don't fall into this one. See, actually, what Elon Musk did, actually, he's not like, it's not kind of, actually, the Signal people, what they mentioned, they have to be very thankful to Elon Musk, because he was mentioning about other Signal, but it was referred to this Signal, but it did not result in the fall of it, actually. So he did not have any intention also, and it was kind of not in this also. That is the reason why. Alright. So here we are seeing that deliberate attempts by the things. Okay, fine. That's what. Okay, next one. What are the non-state actors? How they do? Non-state, non-violent actors. Write down about data colonization. Write about data colonization. Alright. So what is the meaning of data colonization, people? So you know that the meaning of colonization as such. We have seen like how British has colonized India. Now we have a concept called data colonization. What is the meaning of which? So even though we people are not under anyone's sovereignty or anyone's control, but everyone beyond the borders, beyond the geographical borders, now everyone is under the control of social media. Because the social media controls the data. So the data of everyone, data of people here, data of people outside, beyond the geographical barriers. So the best example I have seen that Facebook. So Facebook, I said like how many users in Facebook? It is almost some. It's more than 250 crore people, I guess, approximately 250 crores all over the world. So they have colonized, means they have the control. They will determine. They decide what you want, what you don't want. Is it not? They'll influence your decision making. They will influence on your buying, selling, everything. So that is what. So this is called as data colonization. Alright, so Facebook is one such example. So wherein they influence the decisions, especially the consumers. Is it not? So that is one of the major issue. Because data colonization, it is kind of used actually to manipulate. We have seen how they manipulated elections, right? The Cambridge Analytica scandal. Remember? How they influence the US elections. So this is what. So if they can do that politically, so they can make one person a hero, one person that is a terrorist, and another person as a freedom fighter or whatever it is, liberation fighter. This is what. If they think they can make one person a hero as well as zero, one person as a savior and another person as a terrorist, this is what. Fine. So this is about data colonization. So these are threats you have to follow. So please follow these things. Data colonization. Okay, next one. Next one we are going to see. After finishing of the threats, we are going to discuss about the challenges. Please write down the challenges. See, Cambridge Analytica scandal. No. So in 2016, what happened? In Cambridge Analytica scandal 2016, what happened? The data from the Facebook, it was used to you can say for electioneering. Basically, what for election campaign I mean. So, for instance, I'll give an example. So, Republican Party and this Democratic Party was there, right? So, whatever you like and whatever you dislike, or whatever the comments you make, based on which the information is being manipulated. Manipulated means like, no, we have seen about this homophily echo chambers, right? Exactly the same thing. So they'll kind of pick and choose all those people who are supporting you, who are kind of neutral, who are not doing anything, so that those people who are not Democrats or non-Republicans, both the parties, they will start influencing them, saying that okay, Democrats is very good, Republicans are very bad, or Republicans is very good, Democrats is very bad. That is what. So your data is taken and then it is kind of used as a tool for election campaign. That is what. You just keep it as simple as that. Now, with respect to the challenges, first one is the digital divide. Now, what is the meaning of digital divide, people? So basically, digital divide means those people who have access to social media and internet, because without internet, social media is nothing, and those people who don't have access. And who are those people who don't have access? Meaning there is a lack of proper infrastructure. So in India, we still have a lot of places wherein you are unable to access internet. So that is first of all the digital divide. No, it is said, actually, it is believed that it has kind of made an impact. Cambridge Analytica has made an impact on the US elections and the recent elections also. There was data manipulation, they said, like, but still, see, US elections, any elections, like, definitely there is a kind of impact, like, because people are getting influenced, no? So, right to internet is a fundamental. So what you're trying to say is, Priya, like, anything you want to relate, yeah, right to internet is a freedom. Like, you can, you are mentioning about the Anuradha Basin's case in Jammu and Kashmir, fine, that is fine. But the thing is that, like, it's about, first of all, like I said in this one in the previous classes also, in India, media, it's they kind of extrapolate, it's a paid media. They used to say good about only specific group of people. Leftist means leftist media, Congress, pro BJP. That is what they'll do that. Okay, fine. No, right now it is not required. No, if any party uses, if BJP use of social media data for voting purposes, means like any party, they cannot use it actually. The thing is that as far as the Indian law right now, whatever you are posting without, you can say, maybe, like, I'm just giving an example, without, like, you don't want to share that information. So that is the reason every time they ask whether they can use that information. We want to know that, like, Google also asks permission. A lot of apps ask your permission. So based on which they know what you want, what you don't want and all. So anyone, be it BJP or Congress, anyone, if they use your media, social media information without your permission, definitely that's wrong. All right. So, but it's very difficult actually. Okay. That is also. If a specific political party has definitely taken the mobile numbers, and then if they call these people again, that is also. Definitely, that is also a result of data colonization only. See, if they have taken, see, there are two things actually, basically, people, like you have seen the marketing people, right? I'll give an examples. See, first of all, the data, what they're getting it, they will be sold actually. You know what happens most of the time? I'll give an example. Most of the time, you go for a book fair or any fair, no? What will happen? The data will be collected, right? And the collected data will be sold to any companies based on which. For instance, you go and ask for a specific, you inquire for a specific thing, and in that fair, they collect the data, and then that collected data will be given to a specific company. So you go and ask for a specific book or something like that, or a specific, it can be a dress or it can be any material. So what, that data will be given to a specific company who gives money, one person, like maybe 10 rupees data for one person's data, 10 rupees or 15 rupees, that can be. So that is one thing. And another thing is, there is group of people who are calling randomly. All right, but calling randomly today don't happen because everyone has the data. And if that is specifically, that is proved, what said by Prashant is, so BJP Puducherry, if they have done that, if they have taken the mobile phone numbers through the Aadhaar, it will be a big problem. All right, so they're not supposed to reveal it. And if they have taken it, so how they have taken it, So they have to find it out. So I guess that will be a kind of great issue. We have to wait and watch. Maybe you follow that, and that you can write in data colonization also. Good, fine. Okay, next one. And the next one is about digital illiteracy. Next one is about yeah, right to privacy is a formal right only. Yeah, Putaswamy's case also I can mention. This also you can mention, like internet also. The case of Anuradha Basin's case you can mention. Fine. So next one is about digital illiteracy. Alright. So what is the meaning of digital illiteracy? So previously digital divide means a lack of infrastructure, but here in the case of digital illiteracy means here the lack of knowledge. Here what? The lack of knowledge. So how it is here the lack of knowledge means? Basically, you see in India there is a survey saying that most of the people don't know first of all whether they are affected by a cyber threat or a social media threat. Unless and until they lost money or they lose money, they don't know that. They think that only losing the money means there is a problem in social media or cyber security. Unless and until they don't believe it actually. Because first of all, most of the people in India, if they ask like how secure your data is, they'll ask, okay, is data so important? What they can do with the data? This is what the kind of mentality is. So data is so vital that first of all, they don't know, first of all, whether they are affected or not. Whether they are kind of affected or not, unless and until like they ask money or they lose money. That is what. This is about digital illiteracy. Next one, right on. The exponential spread of information. So exponential spread means in terms of volume also, in terms of velocity, the speed in which it goes. It's so difficult, right? If there is a rumor or whatever information, like it's in a matter of minutes, it will be from 10 to 10,000, 10,000 to 10 lakh, 10 lakh to 100 crores, 100 crores. So it's so easy. So such is the speed, exponential ways in which. So that is something, I can say it is the most challenging for the law enforcement agencies to prevent that. Because once it is spread, like it's so difficult. So the preventing such exponential, and that is the reason why you see someone on sometimes we had like there should be only 5 WhatsApp forwards, remember? They restricted the number of forwards also, remember? Once in a day you should forward only 5 messages once it was there and all. So this is what, like they are trying new things actually, but the thing is that this is going to be the most challenging of all. To control the speed and then like how to prevent that. This is going to be the most challenging factor. The next one. The fears of censorship and freedom of speech and expression. FOSE stands for freedom of speech and expression. Now, what is the meaning of this freedom of speech and expression, people? Freedom of speech and expression is there in Article 19(1)(a), is it not? Now the thing is that it is subject to reasonable restrictions. It is subject to reasonable restrictions under Article 19(1)(2). Article 19 clause 2. Now what happens if at all, if the government tries to regulate, it, then comes the question of, is it affecting the freedom of speech and expression? This is what. So how can the government regulate it? How can the government regulate it? Yes, Donald Trump abandoned social media is also one of the things which was kind of so much discussed in Twitter also. Fine, that is what. Now, in this case, we have to see a landmark case which is called as the Shreya Singhal case. This case is related to Section 66 of IT Act. It is a very important landmark case. The Shreya Shingal's case related to Section 66 of IT Act is very important because under this IT Act, this Shreya Shingal, she was from Mumbai. She was arrested for posting a Facebook, for sharing and posting a, you can say, some message. Alright. So the people, the Mumbai police arrested. So on the grounds that her message is grossly offensive. As per the Section 66 of Act, actually, any message which is grossly offensive which is kind of resulting in the hatred towards a specific community, which creates, intimidates hatred or ill will towards a specific community or anyone, such an information. Alright, so such an information which is kind of creating hatred, like I don't want to go to the entire sections actually. So anything which is grossly offensive resulting in the hatred, so they'll be kind of punished with an offense. That is what the kind of Section 66A says. But why this is a landmark judgment? What they said, in this case, the Supreme Court struck down. In this case, the Supreme Court, they struck down this section. Saying that, they made a very important observation. They made a very important statement and observation saying that the freedom of speech and expression has three fundamental aspects. The freedom of speech and expression has three fundamental aspects. So this is the reasoning why it was struck down. Number one is discussion. Number two is advocacy. Number three is incitement. Alright. Number one is discussion, number two is advocacy, number three is incitement. These are the three fundamental aspects of freedom of speech and expression. So what they said is, if you are discussing about anything, that is not wrong. If you are advocating for a specific thing, that is also not wrong. And what is wrong is if what you spoke it or what you message, if it is amounting to incitement, that is where wrong is. So what is the meaning? So I speak in the class or anything related to that, whether like the government did is right or wrong. All right, should we go for a protest? All those, that's something. Okay, I'm speaking about it. Like, what is the way out? So discussing anything about it is not wrong. Advocating a specific thing is also not wrong. But I'm making the students to go and involved in violence. That is where wrong. So inciting a person is what? Wrong. Any idea it may be. It may be good or bad. Like ultimately incitement to a violence is what? Wrong. That is what. So discussion is not wrong. Advocacy. So these are the three fundamental aspects. So that is what. So whatever you're posting there, Section 66, it is mere kind of a discussion or advocacy only. But if it is shown that a specific post has incited violence and resulted in hatred, that it could be. This is what they said it actually. But what, and the other reason why it was struck down is the words are very vague and ambiguous. Grossly offensive means what? Like how it can be offensive in any format. That is the reason why the reasoning given was very important. It's such a good decision, and you can use that. This Shreya Singhal case is a very landmark case. Anything related to social media, anything related to internet, anything related to freedom of speech and expression, anywhere you can use Shreya Singhal's case. It's a very important landmark case related to freedom of speech and expression, related to social media, related to internet. All right, so this is what. So understand this one. Okay, next one. Next one is about self-regulation and moderation. No, like media, how media is going for self-regulation. Has it worked out? Supreme Court has criticized that. Similarly, what about social media? Will self-regulation work out? The same thing only. Just look at the numbers, people. At least in media, like you have some sort of a control, but in social media, you see the way in which it's spread. Like if at all you got to know some sort of, you can say in the printed media that some sort of a problem is there and they have incited violence or something, like you can stop the kind of supply of newspapers or anything. But in social media, it is not possible, right? See, if a specific TV channel has broadcasted something, you can stop it on the complaint. If the printed media has done something, like you can stop that supply publication. But what will happen in the social media? That is what the social media, they self-regulate. Take the case of Facebook. You know, Facebook has some 2.5 billion users. But Facebook, you know how many moderators? Just 15,000. Just look at the ratio of that. 15,000 people are moderating the text, messages, videos, audios which are circulated among this 2.5 billion users. No, contempt of court is very different, Prashant. Like, so that see, in contempt of court, like I guess like there are a lot of articles in the Hindu or even I can show a lot of articles wherein they criticize the judgment. Criticizing judgment is not a problem. Criticizing the judge is the problem. Criticizing the judgment is never a problem. If at all you say that this judgment is done because so and so judge is very bad, that is where the problematic. Contempt of court is, it's not about the judgment as such. If it is a fair criticism, nothing is wrong. Alright. So self-moderation. Moderation means what? Moderation means, say if at all there is kind of those people, you can say creating messages. Like, so Facebook has one thing. If at all there is a kind of an audio which says that this speaks about terrorism or bombing frequently, or they plan about it, like they use intelligence and then they used to report and then they used to remove the video. Alright, that is what. So, but you see, only 15,000 people are there to control or to monitor the 2.5 billion users actually. Only unless once you report only. I'll give an example. The best example, what happened in Christchurch. So what happened in the Christchurch mosque attack? So one person, he live streamed. The attacker live streamed the video right from the carrying the gun, alright, assembling the gun while driving, after entering into the mosque, killing him. Almost for 20 minutes he was live streaming. The people could not stop it. So people could not stop it after reporting. So that was the kind of scenario. That was the kind of scenario. And that is the reason why we have something called crisis call for action also. So artificial intelligence is used these days to kind of control, but still the concept of self-regulation, self-moderation, it is a kind of failure in social media also. Alright. And that is the reason why recently we have suggested for a intermediary guidelines also. I'll discuss about this intermediary guidelines separately for every batches. I'm going to discuss that separately. Fine. The next one. The concept of extraterritorial jurisdiction. What can I do, Helen? Like it's, I don't know, because of the low bandwidth, I guess. Alright. So, most of us use Gmail, Dropbox, alright, or any other things like Outlook, or you have a lot of iCloud services, the cloud computing thing and all, right? So now you see what happens, even the Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever it is, you know where their servers are located? where their servers are located? Mostly in their respective countries, or interestingly, if you see, most of them, they are in the Nordic countries or Scandinavian countries. Why the Scandinavian countries or the Nordic countries are used, Norway, Sweden, Finland and all, why they are kind of taken? Because the major reason being the temperature and the facilities available to them. All right, because of the temperature. Chandramohan, last time also you said about this Australian law controlling social media, right? Like, okay, what I'll do, I meant to go through that. I forgot that. So while I said while dealing with this intermediary thing, I have to discuss separately. So while that, I'll definitely make a comparison between that and then definitely do that. Oh, don't worry. All right, because I haven't, last time only you said like I forgot to go through that, like Australian law on social media. Fine, I'll go through that. So this is the reason why. So now what happens when the servers are located outside India? So mostly they are located outside India. Now the laws, our laws don't apply actually. So the Indian laws don't apply, and there is a lot of problem in that. This is a major bottleneck. So this is also a major bottleneck which you have to know. All right. Fine. So this is also a major bottleneck which you have to know. This is about extrajudicial jurisdiction. Okay, fine. Next one, the solutions actually. So solutions actually, I'll just give you just how you should go through only. I'm not giving the entire solutions as such. So there is something called SOCMENT, which is so much in news. What is SOCMENT? Social media intelligence. SOCMENT stands for what? Social media intelligence. SOCMENT stands for social media intelligence. So it is basically what? Using open source data. No, when Prashant asked, no, so now if at all you have given your name, mobile number or everything which is posted, like which can be accessible to everyone, definitely there is no restrictions on that. If at all you have posted anything which is accessible to everyone, there is no restrictions. So that won't be called as an state surveillance. All right. So state surveillance is something which the state takes the data without your permission, which is supposed to be confidential. But taking an open source data, it is not a problem at all. Taking an open source data is not a problem at all. All right. So you have to follow this one. So social media intelligence, how social media is used. So the clubbing of big data analytics. So these terminologies which is always associated with big data analytics. They call it as metadata also. So usage of artificial intelligence in that. So these are some of the things you have to follow under this one. So please follow this one. Social media intelligence is something. So the newer solutions. So rather than going for the traditional ones, so this is one thing you have to know. And the next one is Social Media Labs project. Social Media Labs project, it was initiated by the Maharashtra police. So right now, Mumbai police is under the scam. All right, so Mumbai police I used to follow in Twitter. I said Mumbai police Twitter page, it used to be very, you can say sarcastic also. They used to be very good actually. But right now, Mumbai police, because of Sachin Vase case, It's very much under the scanner. All right, and that's nothing new. Like Mumbai, like it's another control of the D company also. So a lot of things are there. Like we have to wait and watch till what happens. So how they kind of influence. Fine. So this is what. So social media lab project is kind of initiated by Maharashtra. So you have to follow initiatives like this. That is the meaning. You have to follow initiatives like this in any states by any state governments. So I'll also follow and then share it to you. In the meantime, as a part of current affairs, you are supposed to go and follow this. All right. Just a minute, Shankar. I'll just in 1 minute. I'll after completing, I'll show it. All right. Fine. No, that is also. I'm saying that social media intelligence means. See, one thing is. No, what you said is by using artificial intelligence and algorithms to automatically eliminate us, that has to be done by whom? That has to be done by the intermediaries. That has to be done by the intermediaries. But the thing is that the law enforcement agencies should have a collaboration with them. So the Facebook will use artificial intelligence and the law enforcement agency also should have a collaboration with them, or else at least the law enforcement agencies themselves, by using the open source data, we can use it also. Either way. All right, either way we can use it. Fine. That is what. Okay, fine. And now the thing is like with respect to the guidelines issued by Government of India, this is very important, people. This is very important. I said right now we'll stop with this one. We'll discuss this later on. I said like I'll discuss. There are some 5 to 6 topics which I have to discuss, not as a part of traditional, which is mostly current affairs oriented. You have to discuss it. Like so, right now, so we have completed this part. So what I'm going to do right now is I'll take each of the topic. I'll tell how you're supposed to prepare, what you're supposed to do for next till the next mains. All right. So I'll show that. So what you're supposed to do for the next mains and other things. I mean, till the mains, actually. Just a minute. Just a minute, people. I'll just come. Okay. So I'll take topic by topic and I'll tell you what you're supposed to do. No. I haven't. These terminologies only I said. No, I have to say about the security, cyber security. I said like so. The thing is that I won't be able to take the cyber security demands at least 1 or 2 classes actually. All right. So since the time is like already we are kind of running out of time for all the batches, we have a lot of classes to complete for other batches. So what we have decided is that like for all the batches we'll be posting a video for it, common video for cyber security and other things related to you can say things like intermediary guidelines and all. So that will be given to as a video, so you can see it whenever it's wanted. Actually, fine. That is the reason, because of lack of timing only. Because if I take for one specific batch, I have to take for the entire batch. we haven't completed for a lot of batches, it's still pending. That is the reason why we have stopped it. Fine, but I have to take that, like, because cybersecurity part I said it's completely left out, so that is the reason why. So in the meantime, like, what you're supposed to follow, I'll tell you. So I've said, first of all, answer writing. Basically, I've said about this, right? So any issues, always study from these aspects. Remember the triple CS, the causes, consequences, and challenges. And the solutions. So always study any issues like this one. All right, so always study any issues from this one. So this is how, so based on which only, based on the questions I have asked, you can answer it. So always have this one. All right, for anything it may be. All right, so we'll start with the first one. So with respect to the first one, Naxalism. So I guess we have mentioned about this one, right? So Naxalism, how you have to prepare, and for first one, the first topic is development, linkages between the development and the spread of extremism. So I said here we have discussed about two major topics. One is left-wing extremism and northeast insurgency. Is it not? So here the focus is how you have to focus from prelims perspective. So from the prelims perspective, you focus on, with respect to left wing, they have never asked any such questions till now, focusing on that. But where you can focus on from prelims perspective is left wing and right wing, mostly the constitutional provisions related to that. And the statutes, that is the laws, especially FRA. All right, PESA right now it is 25th year, and also the Land Acquisition Act. So mostly the Forest Rights Act. So any such changes related to that, if it is a newspaper, mostly focus on that. And the constitutional provisions specifically, I said we have released a study related to the scheduled tribes. I said no, all these provisions starting from 14, 15, 16, 330, 332, 243, DET, all those provisions, and Schedule 6, Schedule 5, all right, and those special provisions. Remember those special provisions? 371 A, B, C, F, G, H, Nagaland, those things. So these things, please do by heart it. All right, please do by heart these provisions, and also the statutes. Statutes, if it is in the newspapers, if it is coming there, like, okay, what exactly the object, any rights actually, because I said this one is 25th year, that is the reason why. All right, so fine, this is what, so mostly prelims perspective, this is what, and mostly you can say focus on the maps also if possible. Maps of Northeast. Maps of Northeast and border management also here also. All right. So this is how you have to prepare for prelims. And mains and interview, I said like interview, you have to have this balance. All right. So how far in this aspect, like in the case of, personality development. And in mains, I'll give you after that, like, so prelims perspective, what are the chances they can ask about these things only? All right. Anything directly related to these things only. And I've said about the schemes also, right? Remember the schemes, the development related things. Like I said about Campa, etc. Campa, MFP, etc. Right? How many things? I asked you to go through the about us page, right? TriFed, MFP. So go and find out the about us page and find it out. All right. So these are the major things you can expect questions from prelims perspective. On the lines you have to prepare. So mains actually, like before mains, like we'll also once again we'll have like we'll be coming to the crash course or test series, right? I'll based on that I'll give you the other aspects how you can start preparing. All right, this is one thing. Okay, next one. The next is role of state actors and non-state actors, right? So next is role of state actors and non-state actors. What happened? Just a minute, people. Okay, next is role of state and non-state actors. And along with that, terrorism, so we can find it out. So here, what we have to focus on, so from the prelims perspective, mostly, so especially the state actors means like, so if at all, it's very unlikely that they'll ask about the organizations, all right. So it's very unlikely, but still, like, you find about UAPA, that is Schedule 1, and Schedule 4. It's what about it? How they have added the individuals and those things, those groups, and those banned organizations which are recently news related to Khalistan. All right. And another aspect is this organizations actually. What are those organizations in worldwide, like FATF? All right. And also the what do you say, the UN conventions or resolutions. Like UN Security Council Resolution 1267. All right. So Paris called for action. Christchurch called for action, right? All right. So the related terminologies, always find out whether India is part of it or not. What is the objective? Other things. And also definitely map related to that. Map related to the terrorist events. Map related to terrorist events. So which area, which organization also. Which group is condemning. Alright, so that is also you can focus on. And also institutions in India also, like all those institutions in India, like apart from that, they're not going to ask much actually. So much from terrorism, there's not much possibility. All right. If anything else, like I'll give an update. So this is how, from the prelims perspective, this is what, from the mains you can develop other things. Fine. This is what prelims perspective. And the next one, with respect to cybersecurity, we have not seen. And third thing, with respect to media and social media. Media and social media, mostly the terminologies. Mostly the terminologies related to, coupled with science only they can ask it. The terms linked with science and technology only, mostly they can ask. Terminologies like, deep web, dark net, or anything like that. Terms, what exactly is the terms, like please, ransomware. So these terminologies are there, solar wind or whatever it is, the terminologies. All right. Apart from that, they won't ask any data and all. It's very least unlikely they are asking the data. Maybe sometimes they can ask the progress of that also, but apart from that, there is not much to scope to ask in media, social media. And I'm saying about it. And next is number 4 is, after that, like money laundering. So in the case of money laundering also, nothing much actually. The same organizations only. Money laundering also same organizations as well as terms actually, or those agreements, like example. So I've mentioned about these things like extradition and all, right? So terms like this one, extradition. All right. And definitely the fugitive economic offender, FEO, fugitive economic offender, those terminologies, laws, Binami, these things only. Money laundering, apart from that, like FATF, it's already covered. So since we have covered FATF, like no need to say anything again. So prelims perspective, this is what. So definition, meaning, other things of extradition. And the next one is with respect to next is organized crime. Organized crime, again, it's about follow drug trafficking, all right, human trafficking related things, related legislations, all right. So mostly here the map, here the legislations, all right, this is how. And also international organizations like Office of UN ODC. What is UN ODC reports, as well as other international organizations related to that. All right. So this is what you got to prepare from this one. So fine. Next is, apart from organized crime, next is next what you have. So organized crime is completed. Next is various security forces. Last of the topic, right? Security forces topic. So security forces topic, again, like they haven't asked much questions. So what you can expect is maybe just go through the forces. They might probably ask about maybe something like the matching or match the following. They might ask. There is a possibility that they might ask about. So one is the map related to what are the forces. All right. Apart from that, security forces in prelims perspective, there is not much, because the most important is the border management, because border management only you can expect map. So border management, it's about map fully. So you have to know what are the borders, the rivers, the important glaciers, the passes, the mountains, and any other, you can see, places of international importance. It may be a biosphere reserve, it may be a national park, and those things. It may be related to those things only. All right. And apart from that, that is unlikely they can ask about anything. If you use fugitive economic offenders, people, yeah, fugitive economic offenders. All right. So this is what. So this is how we can expect the questions actually from the prelims perspective. And maybe like just before that, like if at all anything, like I'll just go through the entire year, like because since we have almost 3 months time, so April, May, June, or almost 2.5 months time, right? So right in the meantime, like I just go through the entire articles, and if there is possibility anything, they might ask it, based on which I'll give an update also. Fine. So one thing is left out, that is cybersecurity, which I'll take, and the other current affairs which I'll take, and if possible I'll come and take the other things also. Current affairs I can come in and I can take. I don't know whether the current affairs people are taking separately, or if not, I'll be taking it. Fine. So any of the doubts you have with respect to the previous year the approach or whatever you have to, and the approach also I can tell you. Just a minute, people. So since like I've discussed about this one, I can give you just a minute. Okay. So I can tell you how you have to prepare here also. Okay. So how you have to prepare. So development the spread of extremism. Not right now. Biosphere reserve, national parks. Biosphere reserve, national parks. So should we focus on mains preparation right now, like answer writing, or should we orient preparation, because now only 3 months left? I know 3 months is very, very huge time actually. People I know, my friends like who are in the service, and I know even the first time one of my friends, she got 5th rank in 2014. She started preparation just 2.5 months back, but that is something like that time it was CSAT was there. She was very good in CSAT, so cleared. But one thing I'll say that I know a lot of my friends who cleared the third or fourth attempt, they used to prepare just for 1 month. Whatever they prepared for the previous year, they used to go sit and write the test only. So prelims perspective, my preparation, my suggestion to you is, first of all, practice as many objective types questions as possible. And if you think that, okay, you're going to revise, no, revision, what is the problem? You start with the revision of a specific topic. Okay, you think that, okay, this I have studied, this I have studied. That is not a revision. That will be failure only. So what you should do is try or revise through questions. All right, have previous year question papers, go through the respective topic, whatever you have prepared, the classroom materials or the newspaper, whatever you have done it, and thereafter, like, no, objective type, sit in an examination environment. If you are sitting at home, also switch off your phone, lock your door, don't ask, ask your parents not to disturb you. 2 hours continuously sit in that environment, because once you go in the actual environment, no, you'll hear noises from train, some people shouting, all those disturbance, the bench will shake, every sort of disturbance will come. So you should be able to kind of concentrate on that, like, so practice in a that manner. So mostly, like, we're gonna have that offline test series also, maybe if things go fine, if there is no second wave, so things go fine, so you'll have that, make use of that. So that is the way to do that. Like, and one more thing, again, don't ask about separate prelims or separate mains. So as far as answer writing, no need it. But right now, what you're supposed to do, you do one thing. Every one of you, I'm just kind of request, I don't know how many articles I received from your batch, but for other batches, some batches 2 to 3 students done, and some batches 5 to 10 people have sent questions to me, answers to me. What you can do, take one question, collect the content from internet or whatever you have from our notebook or from SEA notebook or any internet, whatever the material is, content, collect the content, write the answer and show it to me once. Send a mail to me once. I'll just give a feedback. Okay, this is fine. What all you can change later on. After that, after getting the feedback, you just try whenever you have time in the other subjects. You can try. You need to focus here only. Fine. This is my thing. All right. So after April, by my April April is May, right? By May, every day you should at least try some 50 questions minimum, objective questions, I mean. From April, each day on an average, I'm speaking about each day on an average, every day 50 questions at least. Because I'm saying that you're not going to clear because of your knowledge alone. It's about practice. Practice. Like, once you start only, you'll get to know that. Like, so it's no point in being just reading. Like, that is what. Fine. So with respect to this first topic, like how your preparation should be, like, so mostly, like, right now, so I said about prelims focus. So you can expect questions in the mains, mostly related to the provisions and mostly it can be based on the problems, such as state specific problems, or it can be based on the indirectly on the issues as such. All right, so I guess we need not discuss about that right now. So I'll give you an exercise. You just we'll have a short break. After coming in, like, we'll have exercise. All right, so related to note making. All right, so please come back. So after 5 minutes we'll meet. So I'll show you how to make notes and all. So I'll give you that practice. So after which we'll wind up. No guidelines, I haven't said. No, I said no guidelines. I'll discuss later on. I said, so guidelines you need not study right now. I'll said I'll take it as a separate video. Okay, for practicing 50 questions each day, like no, so it may be previous year question papers also, people. Like it need not be like it can be previous year question papers. You can get it from our academy also. You can get it from anything online also. But you ensure like you follow specific. You see, if you keep on combining, first is previous year question papers, the entire thing, starting whatever you have from 1990s. I used to go through say 1970s and all, 79 then 80 from 1980s and all, but selectively, like at least factually fine. So most of the times there used to be repetitive questions. In 1 year, you see, like I still remember it was in 2015 and 16, I guess it was. So one question asked in 2015, the very same question came in the next year. And there are a lot of instances like that. There are a lot of instances like that. Previous year questions paper used to come. So previous year question papers first, and next is it can be anything. Like if you are following Shankar IAS, because like one test they'll, for each of the tests they'll specifically cover a specific thing. So please try to finish off that, and then you can go for other things. So maybe something from this one website, something from this website, it will kind of too many cooks will spoil the food. So definitely ensure that that's not done. No, if you have time. So Sivapriya have a time right now. You have a time right now? 50 questions per day. I heard like people, if you are so free or if you have so much time, I heard like you are going 2 classes per day and all. Like now you're saying that if you have time, you can start like every day some small topic. So take a topic. All right. So if at all, say NCRT book, you have it, especially polity. I'll give an example related to polity. Now, so polity book if you have, right? So first of all, polity book you have. So two things it's necessary. I guess most of the people would be following Lakshmikant, but I first of all, you should have the Bar Act in hand. Bar Act means the Constitution Bar Act as such. Number one, PDF format or whatever it is. And secondly, the NCRT books. These are the two things which are mandatory, because they're not going to take questions from Lakshmikant. Lakshmikant has compiled it actually, fine. So they have added the inclusions, fine. But they're going to take the questions either from the Barrett or from NCRTs. So what you should do, while if you have completed a specific chapter, say fundamental rights you have completed. So fundamental rights, you keep the Barrett from say article 12 to 35. And there is in the book, like there is in 11th book also. In 11th, there is 2 books, right? One is the Constitution at Work, Indian Constitution at Work, and the political theory. So in the political theory, there is again a rights chapter. So you have to be prepared. Unless you didn't go through 12 to 35, unless you didn't go through the Indian Constitution work, there is a dedicated chapter for it. Unless you go through the political theory book which related to rights, your study is incomplete, first of all. Because these are the primary sources. I don't mind whether you studied Lakshmikant or not. And of course, yeah, class notes is fine. But unless and until you study, you didn't go through even these things once, means you haven't prepared. Be frank. If you haven't gone through the wordings of 12 to 35, and not the entire thing, just glance actually. Sir would have thought, right? So based on that, a glance. 12 to 35 once. What are the key words? Thereafter, in 11th, there is Indian Constitutional Workbook. There is related to fundamental rights. There is a chapter, and the 11th political theory book related to rights. Unless and until you didn't go through these things, you're incomplete. Okay, first, after going through, what you're supposed to do? Take the previous year question papers. The previous year question papers related to fundamental rights. All those questions. So mostly today, these days, they used to give subtopic also. Even if they don't give, just go through those questions related to fundamental rights. Try to attempt the previous year question papers. Try to attempt the previous year question papers immediately. Whether you know the answer or not, make a mark of it. Okay, they're asking about which article or anything specific to that. After that, go back to the Bar Act, mark it. Go back to this one. Okay, they've asked here only. This is what. This is how. So based on which you have to start preparing. Purida, understood? So based on which you have to. So go through that, then having the previous year question papers. Fine. Okay, this question. Okay, the moment you go through previous year question papers, You should know a specific question has been asked from where. Only then you are thorough. Sometimes it may not be in the books also. Sometimes out of syllabus means like some other textbooks. Forget about the exceptions. Forget about the exceptions. Exceptions they can take from any other book. But apart from that, if it is there here, please find it out. So this is how you have to prepare. So previous year question paper was done. Now you go through any institute or academic questions, and in that questions you can again revise. You can keep on revising. You can revise whatever it is, and this is the way I managed to clear 4 times. It's not merely because of my knowledge. That is one of my friend who was cleared 7 times also. So he never used to study. He last 1 month he used to study. He used to put only the questions. He never used to revise anything. Questions only. Have like I'll just, you have my mail ID, right? You can do that. Fine. Now what I'm going to do is, so I'm just going to teach you my way of note making, so which will be helpful for prelims as well as mostly mains actually. Just a minute. So look out for the chat box. Like I'm going to share an article. So I've shared an article. See anything like, say my domain is restricted to internal security, but with respect to polity, like since so I'm basically a lawyer as well as I've taught polity also, so I can think, because I'm teaching law also, I can give my inputs related to polity alone. But rest of other subjects like NCRT is the only one thing I know. Apart from that, the other sources you have to ask the respective faculties. Fine. Now with respect to this one, like I've shared an article, right? Please click on this article, people. So please click on that article which I've shared it. Have you opened, everyone? Okay. Now, no, I'm not getting any response. Have you opened it, people? Have you received it or not? Have you received it? Have you received the article? Okay, fine. Now, okay, fine. Now, what you're supposed to do? No, don't go through the article right now. So let me tell you what you're supposed to do. Please don't go through the article right now. All right. So, first of all, don't go through the article. That article, if you have a stopwatch, take the stopwatch. Read that article once. Read that article only once, without stopping, continuously, only once. Don't refer anything. Don't stop. So without stopping, at once. At once. All right. So note down the time also. All right. Thereafter, what you're supposed to do, you have to, first thing is take the key terms, write the key terms. I'll just give you the examples. Write the key terms. Secondly, find out the new terms with respect to vocabulary. So here are key terms, technical terms related to, here in this case, related to cyber. These are related to vocabulary, related to grammar, improving your vocabulary. And the third is, find out the phrases which you can use it as a part of grammar. Number fourth is, find out the questionable phrases. I'll just give an example. And fifth is, make a mind map of key points. All right. Now, first of all of you, I'll just tell the examples of these things later on. Right now, what? Switch on your start your stopwatch. All right. If you have it, read it. Once you read it, you tell me how long you took it to finish. First things first. First, you tell, and then we'll discuss about the other things later on. That article. So someone has already completed that quick. Okay, we'll wait. Go through like so let me see like okay. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. So in the meantime, people who have completed, they can find out the key terms, vocabulary and all. So now people, so most of you said like you completed, okay, fine. Most of you, in a sense, at least all those people who are active, like they've completed, right? So now, just show, wait just a minute, wait. Okay. So, so what you have done right now is people like I guess people are there online right now. So what you have done right now is this is called as comprehension. I said comprehension. This is what you have to do without the help of dictionary, without googling actually. Whatever you read it, whatever you understood it, that is comprehension. This is the way you should practice. If you ever practice for comprehension, this is how, without assistance of Google, without the assistance of dictionary, if you do that, that is comprehension. This is one such cases. So get to know how much. It's not about the matter of time. Since I asked you to focus on matter of time, but I don't know how many of you understood what is the crux of the matter. People would have focused only on the time, but the thing is that focus along the crux of the matter also. You should concentrate on that also. Now, what you're supposed to do, as I already said, like the things you should do right now is the key terms first. Now, what are the key terms first? The terms like the key terms means solar winds, cyber espionage. These are key terminologies because these terms are relevant to cyber security alone. That is the reason why. Understand? So find out and list those keywords separately. Point number one. While you are studying, now you can study, go through point by point. So in the meantime, find out the keywords like that, technical terms. Secondly, vocabulary. So there are so many terms which sometimes some people may know, some people may not know. Mostly there are things like you can say uh, deterrence, which normally we use, and sophistication, braceness. These sort of words, these sort of terms which improves your vocabulary, because in examination don't try to repeat the words, you need to have new words. That is the reason why these sort of words. So second, find out the vocabulary which you found new words. And the third is the phrases. Now what are the phrases I'm mentioning it about? See, for instance, the phrases like up their sleeve, you can search it. Now you can search it. While writing, you can search it. What is the meaning of up their sleeve? It's not like this one. Up their sleeve means what? So there are phrases like this one. Write those phrases which you can use it in any of these. Mostly it will be useful in essay. Next is questionable phrases. This is the key point. Now what is the meaning of questionable phrases means? From this article, if you are an examiner, how would you frame the questions? UPSC you will be able to successfully do if you know the knack or the nuance of how to judge a question, how to judge an examiner, I mean. So from this very specific article, how the questions can be framed. So that's what, if you expect this questions framing and all, if you are mastered in that, in the examination you'll know that, okay, this is the question I expected. So how do people expect questions? From the articles they read it. Fine. So I'll give you examples. For instance, questionable things means, okay, like this one. Cyber strong can do what they can, cyber weak must suffer what they must. Alright, fine. So next is statements like this. Alright, so these sort of things like there are there, like I'll tell you the examples like that. You have to know. Okay, after doing that, I'll just show it my own thing also. And the mind maps largely, like what exactly is the crux, you have to do that. Now, take 15 minutes. Now take 15 minutes, write down these terms and send it to me. 15 to 20 minutes you take. After writing it in your notebook, take a picture and send it to me as a PDF to my mail ID. After which I'll discuss how you are supposed to do, and the example I have done it in the class also, because I did it along with the students in another batch. So I want to show you within that stipulated time how much I was able to do that. Fine. So please do right now. Start doing it. No, not mentioning his message is not enough. Chandramohan, you please do type it in the page format and then do that. So people, how far is your progress? Have you completed? Okay, okay. Do it, do it. Yeah, okay. Just type my mail ID. Example of questionable phrases? No, I said no, this one. Maybe like if you want, like I can give you more examples, like fine. Okay, this is one thing. Without strong piracy and data protection, cybersecurity will be an elusive goal. This is one thing example. And similarly, I've given other examples, right? For instance, information sharing is the bedrock of cybersecurity. So these are some of the questionable phrases. Okay, fine. Now, people, what I'll so I'll show that like so people kindly look here. Now these are some of the examples. So I'm not like included the entire thing. I'm not included the entire thing. So I'm just giving, okay, on these lines you have to do that. Like some people have done it or included more words or less words. That doesn't matter. Like, so what matters here is, so how is it? So first of all, like I'll tell you like how I chose this article actually. No, I asked my friends to choose an article because like I want to test along with my fellow students. So choose an article which is completely new. And why I did not choose the article from Hindu is because you might have already had that knowledge of it. Like some of you might have read it, so that is the reason why I've taken it from the alignment actually, and it turned to be a very good article as such, because I've said like the criterias, and so he has found out, he's in service right now, so he has find out such an article. So now what you're supposed to do now? So I said the terms actually. So we've seen these terms. Maybe most of you would have added these things also. Like, in addition to that, like, so fire eye, solar winds. For fire eye is a kind of an, you can say, it's a name of an organization. So solar winds, sunburst attacks, exfiltrated data, cyber espionage. Along with that, there are a lot of other words also related to cyber defense, cyber strategy, cyber domain, cyber strong, cyber weak. And so all these things are there, but I have added this in phrases, so that is the reason why I have not added separately. So these are terminologies. So whenever you prepare it, and one more thing, like I've chosen cybersecurity because I have not taught you. This is completely new to you. So right now you have a lot of chance to learn it actually. Fine, that is the reason why. So these are some of the terminologies. You can use it. You can expect questions, maybe prelims, mains, or an interview. Even if you don't know anything, even the conclusion or anything, like even the essay, if they ask about cybersecurity, you can have it. These are some of, you have to be prepared with a defined set of, you can say, what is called as templates. You know about what is template, right? In this one. So you have to be prepared with something in that, like this is a kind of ready-made format, you can use it. And the second one is vocabulary. Like some of the things I thought like you can. Sophistication, braceness, deterrence, forward defense, scrupulous, dystopia. These are some terminologies like vocabulary. I mean, like try to use it. The words you are learning it, try to use it in a sentence. Try to speak with your friends, or try to write in an exam. This is how you can improve your vocabulary. I said especially in essay. Essay maximum try to avoid repetition. So improving your vocabulary. Why improving your vocabulary? Some people may ask, sir, I'm going to write it in Tamil. I'm going to write it in Malayalam. So is it required? Whatever, you can write it in Tamil or Malayalam, whatever the language, Hindi or whatever it is. But the thing is that the questions will be in English and Hindi only. The questions will be in English and Hindi only. You can write it, but only if you understand it, you can write it right. So that is the reason why you have to improve. So don't feel bad. I know one of my friend who studied in Tamil medium and who was able to clear IFS, and he's an IFS right now. The thing is that, like, if you take a specific, sir, I'm from Tamil medium, I'm from a regional medium, I don't know that. Don't take that excuse. Put effort and then learn. This is one thing. Because paper 2, it will help you. Next is phrases. And I guess right now you have seen this, no? Phrases like up their sleeve, secret sauce of the recipe, to have tentacles. So what does the meaning of to have tentacles means? To control. So instead of using the control, if you use the word to have a tentacles, how it sounds so good, right? This is how you should try to use that. Or secret sauce of the recipe, you can use it anyone. The secret ingredient, the very thing, like the success of that determines this one. Yeah, there is a general opinion vocabulary is not important. That depends on it, people. Like, no, it's not that like only if you have a good vocabulary. The thing is that there is speaking difference between minimum and maximum level. I'll tell you. You are speaking about something, okay, you can average, you can get good marks. But I'm speaking about, like, definitely concept is very important. No, some persons are asking, like, so how important vocabulary is. It's very important in the sense, like, first of all, idea is very important. But instead of 4 sentences, you can make it in 2 sentences. Instead of explaining in 2-3 words, you can make it in 1 word. Like, this is what vocabulary is important in saving your time, saving your space. That is how. It is not that if you have good vocabulary, if you definitely have a good vocabulary, you have an advantage. But what matters most is the content, the diversity of the content. Maybe like that is very different. In essay, like, you have a lot of factors. Maybe you start sending an essay, I'll give you a feedback regarding that. But this is what. All right. Fine, that is what. And next is about phrases. Actually, these are phrases like up their sleeve. You know what is the meaning of up their sleeve means? Have you seen that? Did you go and see that? Up their sleeve? Did you Google it, people? Okay, fine. So this is how you should do that. Like, and also some of the adjectives also. Like, if I guess this will be in paper 2 and other things. So tricks itself, fine. It's tricky, we call it as, but sophisticated tricks. Unsettled world order. This could be useful. They would ask these sort of questions actually. That is the reason why I'm asked to do that. Now coming to the most important part. the questionable phrases. Now, I found a lot of potential in this article where you can frame into the questions. For instance, they might give cyber strong can do what they can and cyber weak must suffer what they must. Comment on it. So without even mentioning it, they can ask indirectly. For instance, okay, without strong privacy and data protection laws, cybersecurity will be an elusive goal. Analyze. Or again, they can ask comment on it. Alright. So without a legal mandate and clear boundaries, cyber defense architecture will quickly become a dystopia. Again, they'll ask comment on it or examine the statement, whether it is right or not, or critically examine. So this is how. So based on that, try to create these phrases. Okay, from this article, these sort of questions can be asked. There is a possibility. So this is how. Once you develop this habit, once you become a kind of boss in that, like you'll definitely able to crack it. You should be able to understand, okay, from this article how can, okay, so first of all, what exactly this article in short, actually this article in short, because I not make a mind map because I was doing it in a laptop, so I not make it actually. So what are the implications? It says that cybersecurity capacity building is very important, investment is very important, cooperation is very important, and capacity building, they spoke about these words. Like capacity building means right now will be more conventional warfare will be there. Less conventional warfare will be there under this one. Cybersecurity plays a very important role. Even a smaller countries like Singapore, they may able to create a lot of problems, and because that is what it's not about the numbers alone, it's about cyber security. So they even made a comparison between nuclear strategy versus cyber strategy. So we need to develop the strategy sooner, because in the case of nuclear strategy, we kind of got it very later only. That is the reason why. And the second is the investment aspect. Like, okay, fine, we have to invest more. If weaker the investment, you are easy target. That is what they mean. All right, and they made a comparison also. And in the case of cooperation, they spoke about trust, collaboration between the public, government, academic, military, everything. So even though there need to be privacy and data protection, that cyber defense architecture, it should be clearly defined, and there should be a legal mandate for that defined. So that is what lastly they have given this statement also, right? Remember, in a liberal democracy, civil military collaboration is as equal as should be civil military separation. So when you're kind of collaborating, you should ensure that there is a kind of clear separation also, because if there will be a trouble in the democracy, that is what. So this is how. This is a very good piece of article. So you have lot of things to do. You have lot of things to do. This is, I'm just giving an example only. All right. I was just giving an example only. This is how you should prepare. So once you start preparing like this, that is where maybe people might ask questions. So I've asked, I faced these questions like this one. So people said like, I'll come to that. Like if people ask questions, so should we need to spend so much time on that? You see, you have almost covered some 5 to 10% of the cybersecurity topic. A lot of new terms. I'm just imagining that you don't know anything about cybersecurity. Nothing about cybersecurity. Now, at least from this article, spending half an hour or 1 hour, you have learned a lot of new words, right? This is how. So such articles will come once in a while only. So all those articles, dedicate time and then try to do that. Like always have a picture. Okay, cybersecurity, these are the dimensions I have. Now there is a question. So if you have, if such questions are asked when we have no clue about particular word, how can we manage them? That is what. That is what. Last year they asked a question about Cyberdome. Last year they asked a question about Cyberdome. No one knows that. People, I said that was a government of Kerala initiative. I don't. People from Kerala also don't know that. It was like 2 to 3 years back. It was in the newspapers and all, and it was in Hindu. That in the Kerala edition in one page. The thing is that people start drawing it. One example. You see, it's so interesting that once they ask a question about Juno mission. So I wrote that year mains actually. So in that Juno mission, one person, what he did, he was sitting diagonally opposite to me, and last 2 minutes or something like that. So when I gave the papers and all, I looked at his paper. So what he did, he draw this diagram. So this is sun, and so Mars. Sorry. So this is Jupiter, right? So he draw this to be Jupiter, and within that, like he draw this is Juno. He draw the solar system. He draw Jupiter. Now what? We also know nothing about Juno mission. Okay, Juno mission is about Jupiter, like finding water and those things we have done. In addition to that, this fellow has drawn this thing. He don't know what to do. Maybe he draw this one. But the thing is that everyone laughed at him. All right, so everyone laughed. But the thing is that he managed to clear. He managed to clear prelims, but unfortunately he did not make it to service. But the thing is that I don't mean to say that he cleared because of this question alone. Look, I'm not saying that he cleared because of this question alone. Maybe what? The thing is that had I been the examiner, maybe because of this creativity I said no. That is also matters. Because of that creativity, like maybe I said, okay, half mark extra for it. Or 1 mark extra for it. No, what not others have said it. Like that is what. So mostly the three things which you have to focus is, you have to focus on the content, the structure and presentation. The content, structure and presentation. So content, don't write whatever you know, whatever you recollect. Reproduce the content only which is relevant to. So whatever you are able to retrieve, whatever you are able to recollect, don't reproduce everything. Reproduce in the paper whatever it is relevant only. That is the first key point. Retrieve, reproduce the relevant thing. Recollect, reproduce the relevant thing. That is what. Don't write irrelevant steps. Second, structuring. So introduction is there, body is there, conclusion is there. Now people will write like enough content, you have it. The thing is that introduction, body and conclusion, you see the transition between introduction to body, from body to conclusion, that has to be a smooth transition. What? Smooth transition means what? First gear to second gear to third gear. Or you can say, you see in a movie, there will be a comedy, there will be a song, there will be a romance. Again, there will be a comedy, song, fight. No, not like that. That should not be abruptness. It should be the movement, the transition from introduction to body, especially in essays, you have to take it in a smoother way. There should be some connection to it. Alright, so that is what. This is important. Structuring, like where you should produce, what you should say in introduction, like this and conclusion matters a lot. It's kind of like takeoff, I said already. And in the presentation, what they expect is, it's about two things. One is about legibility, how it is there, and uniformity. So these are the two things. So with whatever you have it, write it in such a manner, it will be fine. It should be, you see some people used to write, like even I sometimes used to write, right? So write if at all. So write what, like I don't. Alright. So the thing is that there is no difference between E, I, N, anything. So it's not like that. Running letters, like it should be legible, first of all. Okay, fine. It's what is it actually? Even if you write separately, you should write it what? Clearly, legible. The word should be clear, legible. And it should be uniform. Uniform means what? Like writing with the same space. Presentation. No, some of the things like I've got it in the other batches. One person used to write, even that's you can say computer generated or typewritten will be they'll be lost. Such is the uniformity. Straight line, no, even if you put a scale and then measure it, it's so precise actually. So people have such fantastic presentation. Forget about the content actually. So content does also matters, but there are so many people who have gotten just because presentation also. So you need to have some of the positives, right? Content, structuring, not less presentation. You need to have. That is the way you should improve your presentation also. Please keep these things in mind while writing it. Fine, this is how you should prepare. So I hope like it has helped you right now. So right now what you do, you just send it to me. I'll just give you feedback of all the notes making also. And right now, whatever the relevant notes only, right now don't put too much of time right now. Maybe you can, whenever you find a very good piece of article, even if I said no, from the April 2nd week or 3rd week, I'll start sharing the articles. So whenever you have time, like please go through and form notes for it. That will be helpful for the mains also. All right. So in the meantime, first of all, I have to complete for all the batches. Only then I can start sharing it, because for sharing one batch and not sharing another batch, it will create a problem. So that is the reason I'm waiting for all the batches to complete. So I hope, like, in the meantime, at least like you start writing and start making notes also. Fine. So that's it. So any other things, any other questions you want to ask people? Any other questions, any other doubts you have, people, so that like, you can send it. You can send it, people. And no need to wait for it. You can send it to me. Any other doubts you have? All right. So if any, like, you send it to me through mail, it's time. So all the very best to you people. I hope you enjoy my sessions. You can give feedback also. All right. So whether it is good or positive about my the way I presented, about my language also, the speed, everything, because like the feedback you give only, it'll be kind of, I'm taking it, and I'll be doing that for this consecutive batches also, because a lot of input which is given by the previous batches. All right. So that was very useful to me. So I need to implement that in the further batches. I hope like you enjoy the classes also. Fine. And so previous class held, I don't know when was the previous class. All right, fine. So that is what, so all the very best to you people, like my hearty wishes and sincere prayers for you. So keep in touch. All right. So keep sending your things. And anything else like amendment, I'll tell that. All right. So keep in touch, people. Like and also again, UPC is a mind game. Keep in mind. All right. So please do be calm and composed. All right. So any of the doubts related to that also, you can send it to me. All right. Fine. Yeah. Thanks for the compliment, Satya. Thanks for the compliment. Thank you. Enjoy it, Mamshi. Sri Lakshmi, Karthik. Thank you. Yeah, Magesh, definitely we'll meet actually. So I hope you'll be actually from the next week. Like we are having offline classes, but since your weekend actually, I don't know. Maybe you are coming for any test series. But after prelims we can meet. Sure, for sure. All right, fine. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Helen. Enjoyed it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Asha. Thank you, Gunal. Thank you, Pandit, Prashant. Yeah, thank you for those unnamed persons. Stay safe, people. Stay safe. Like exam times are nearing. Like okay. So please do stay safe. Yeah. Thank you, Asiatic Cheetah. Thank you, Shankar, Soundarya, Bishnoy. Thank you. Thank you, people. Thanks for the compliments. All right. So we'll meet through mail then. All right. Fine. So during the current affairs classes and then. All right. So we'll sign off then. All right. Bye. Take care, everyone. Good night, people. Happy studying. Thank you, Saran, and thank you.